Hi, beautiful people, and happy Saturday. Welcome to my channel. If you haven't come here before, come across my channel or my lives. I'm Sissy, life coach and motivation speaker, and you're on my channel. We speak about all things spiritual and also self-development and self-awareness, right? So, as a collective, we're getting a lot of information that is not so nice to hear because it's information that is about what bad things happening. And remember that bad news and bad things travel very fast, and that's what's pushed in the game. Okay, so we're talking about the narrative about corruption and extreme wealth. Okay, now I would say that the wealthy have this thing of being corrupted. Okay, so are they born corrupted, or is it the wealth or the money that makes them corrupted? Good question. Right now, let's talk about like with the e-file story specifically. That's why I'm talking about this topic, because of the e-files that are out now, and we're all hearing all these jarring, uh, negative, bad, scary, very, very low frequency information is coming out about what's been going on the back end of the game while we all living our ordinary lives, right? Getting up every day and going to work and living our lives. A lot of things have been happening on the back end in terms of the people with power and money. Now, there is a perception that say that money makes people evil, or money is evil, or if so it may be. Right now, we need to remove the money from the concept of evil, because money is just a tool, right? Money is just a tool. It's not a bias. It doesn't have a feeling like human beings. So it's always about the human being who has the money. It's about that human being that has the money and how they're going to use that money for corruption, for evil things, or they're going to use to uplift themselves and the community and the world. Because it's a given ideology that when you hold money and wealth, you should be taking care of the world. You should be taking care of the communities around you with the money that you have, because that is a moral expectation, right? Let's talk more about like Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey. Now, Ghislaine Maxwell said to be from a very wealthy family, a lot of money, British family with money. And Jeffrey, Mr. Einstein, whatever his name is, right? Jeffrey is from a normal background, and he became very wealthy because of his connections, or the connections that he forged because of whatever his skill is, right? It looks like it could have been about money, because he was actually giving advice regards to money to these so-called millionaires and billionaires, people from prominent families, including um, Miss Maxwell. Right, now let's continue. So, does wealth create corruption? When you have a lot of money, extreme wealth doesn't make you corrupt, doesn't corrupt your mind. Okay, power without oversight. Let's start there. The ultra rich can and will hire lawyers. Yes, they will. They'll have influence institutions. They could have influence over institutions like certain courts and stuff like that, right? To delay the consequences of what they have been doing, the wrong things that they've been doing, the things that are against the constitutions in different countries, or even against the normal natural law of the universe. Now, social insulation. They have a social insulation. Wealthy circles often protect their own reputation. So they have in this club, they're all protecting each other, basically, right? So they actually get you involved in the activities that what Mr. Jeffrey did. He got them involved. He took pictures. He took videos. He had that information about all their weaknesses according to the files right now, and information has been declared out right now. Access to vulnerable people as well. Remember that where there's wealthy people, there's going to be people that want the assistance, people that want to have some sort of a foot into that type of lifestyle, like models, like actors, people that want to move up. Ordinary people that don't come from money need that help. So there's always those vulnerable people around them that they can influence. Money can create exploitative issues, right? Exploitative environments. When I have money, I can exploit you because there's an imbalance here in the relationship. Okay, that's what we see with the e-files. Okay, let's continue. Sense of entitlement. People that have a lot of wealth and power tend to have a sense of entitlement, long-term privilege, or because you have that money, you have that leverage of money and wealth, you feel entitled and there's no boundaries because you want to now feel own the other person. According to what we see in the e-files, it's about him having that power over the people that you so-called helped and also worked with to make this money, all right? Like Sarah Ferguson and others, you understand? If you look at that, the e-files is quite interesting because it gives you a nice picture of the gross abuse of wealth and the power that you have. Okay, so guys, thank you for joining my live today. We're talking about the e-files basically, but we're speaking about the corruption. Does money corrupt, or people just corrupted already, and then when they have wealth they use that to now to abuse others and all the other things, right, to take control? Because we know as human beings that we've been taught that a lot of people believe that money is evil, that money is the cause of all evil, and people still say that now and again. Old school people tell you money is the cause of all evil. Now, money is just a neutral thing. It doesn't have any preferences. It's a tool. It's like saying your cell phone is evil because there's an evil stuff in that you can actually view on that cell phone. Doesn't mean your cell phone is evil. Same with money doesn't mean money is evil. However, let's continue, right? Because you're speaking into this whole concept of the effect of the e-files, right? Was Jeffrey really a corrupted person before becoming wealthy? We don't know much about his background because there's not much out there according to the information that's been exposed to us. All we're hearing about him using his power, how he got that powerful. We don't really have a story that leads to him to getting that power where he's so close to the royal families and the political leaders. How did he get there? I mean, a real documentary that's honest would really do well at this time. So we can understand how did him from humble beginnings become so wealthy. We need to understand how an ordinary person, because he came from ordinary background according to what we told, becomes so wealthy because I say he was not from a rich family, neither is he from anything with money, right? He worked his way up. Apparently, he had this gift with money and giving advice for people to invest and what to invest and stuff like that, right? That's what we're told, right? So we need clarity on how it all happened, okay? Now remember that access to elite networks also allows you to gain the friendship of people in the elite group, as we get to understand, because he gained connection with Ferguson and her husband, ex-husband, because they were divorced apparently, right? When that email that she was sent, that conversation was having with Mr. E was actually published. It was actually, they were actually talking after the divorce of from her royal husband, right? Cousin of the royal family, whatever sort it may be. The ability to avoid accountability for years because you have money. So for years, he avoided accountability. And so in that sense, he also protected his friends that he was also doing all these things with them, providing these um, illegal activities to, like, for example, young children, all those things, pedophilia and stuff like that, right? So it goes very deep. If you think about it, was Jeffrey just a victim of the situation he found himself in? That he had all this wealth, and because he had this inability to be balanced as a person psychologically, we don't know his background, we don't know if he was abused as a child, we don't know what happened, right? We're just getting told now this is what this man did, this Mr. Jeffrey Einstein's, all the things he did and all the people he associated with, very wealthy people. As I said, we don't have an account of how he got there. How did he get to that connection? How did he get to that level of society where he can make a phone call to Obama or even to Trump? You understand? How did he get there? We need to understand the full story here to understand, like, this person's background and what truly happened to Mr. Inside. Will make a wonderful movie. What don't you think as well? Because information is key at this time. Now we're given only all the information of all his dealings. We're not seeing the picture from the beginning. Basically, how did he work there? What was his first job? Where was he from? Who were his parents and stuff like that? His background, how he was brought up, and how he managed to get to that to connect with famous people? How did he manage to even own a big island and everything? How did he make his money to that level? You see, very interesting. These are things that we need to understand, right? So let's continue. Are they are they really moral corruption already? Are they really morally corrupted before the money comes? Was he already morally corrupted? Was he maybe abusing animals when he was a young child, or was he a bully as a young child? We need to know the full story of this guy. Since now they threw it out there for us to look at, right, and make decisions on what we think about the situation. We need more information. As I said, I specifically need more information to understand the psychology of this person. Because remember that everything begins as childhood, because you are being groomed, you've been conditioned as a child, maybe from an abused family, maybe you was neglected. Now we're just seeing all the other things that we don't want to hear. I mean, all the gross abuse and stuff like that, right? Now, a deep personality or pathology or antisocial or a narcissistic trait, was he like that? Generally, or was it the money and the power, or was he forced and worked with other wealthy people to do all these things? What was the story? We don't know, right? Lack of empathy. Does he have a lack of empathy? Apparently, with all the things that we read now online and hearing in the videos, we are seeing this man with no empathy, a lack of empathy, a very cruel, hard person, because we don't understand anything. We're just given the top layer information, and we now need to make a decision on that in terms of how we really view the story. And I always ask myself, why now? Why are they bringing all the stories out now? Why now? Because I mean, apparently the guy was arrested in 2008, and then again it was in 2012, right? And that's when it's like soon after he was so-called killed, or he committed suicide allegedly, right? But they say he did commit suicide, so that is a real legal reason why he was how he died, right? Let's continue. Okay, now when you like to control people, right, and you like to control them and lie and gaslight them, he seems to have that tendency of gaslighting people. Now, it's so interesting because even powerful people, not just his victims, the models, the nobodies, also powerful people he had so much control over. If you look at those emails, especially with him and Ferguson, right? How they communicated, their power. And he was like the person that, okay, I don't need your friendship, you need my friendship more. And she called him all like my brother, I love you, and all those things, right? You're trying to understand somebody from that level of society, belonging to royal family, and then you're borrowing from him. So I'm trying to understand, how did it get to that level? I mean, in society where you can get real people borrowing money from you, from him. Very interesting, very, very interesting. The corruption is too much here, right? The things that they're getting involved with, things that they are not showing us all the stories. Not every single thing is being released, right? So I remember my tales about self-awareness and also self-development. So this information tells us a lot about the wealthy people. When you're a wealthy person, right, very ultra wealthy, you're still an ordinary person. You still have human issues and human weaknesses. Money doesn't solve all problems, especially when you don't think you have a problem. Like when you an egotistical man like Mr. Jeffrey, you don't see that you have a problem, that somehow your ego is too big and you're controlling people because you have all access to this money, right? So money itself is not evil, as I said. It's not evil at all. It's the person or the people that are handling the money, who have control of the excess of the money, that are the problem, not the money. Okay, people without traits generally, these is narcissistic traits don't generally suddenly become exploitive, right? Just because you are a narcissist and you lack empathy, you don't become as powerful as Mr. Jeffrey, and as weaker, because all the things that he done were very painful and dark. Okay, so here we go. The corruption likely is in the character before the wealth. So they're saying that the corruption is wealthy, is there before the wealth. The wealth just added to it. Right now, he probably was a very corrupted person before he became wealthy. He was egotistical, probably with no empathy, probably even a child abuse victim. You'll never know, right? Unless they give us that information. The power corrupts the principle. The idea often attributed to certain concepts like power tends to corrupt, as they always say, and absolute power is even more worse. It becomes evil. So power can corrupt, especially if the person who's gaining the power is already having a problem with sense of self. He has low self-esteem. He's got father or mother issues of abandonment, maybe. Maybe he was abused or bullied as a young child. Maybe that person was also neglected when he was a teenager. Maybe people never like him, girls never like him, things like that. So you see, like, okay, I need to pursue these things. Since I have the power and the money now, since I have the power and the money, I can now use the power and the money to get people to accept me and like me. You see, because remember that people love money so much that they will not look at your personality, look at your money, the power that you have. Like how we tend to be in a society where we worship money and power. And we worship people with money and power. We tend to think they are more superior because they have money. Now, these are the things that actually caused Mr. Jeffrey's issue to actually get so bad, because he was actually in control of a lot of money. Too much money. And that money gave him the sense of power where you could actually give money and borrow money out to other people. Hi, sweetie pie. Hi, David Kruger. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Today we're talking about money and power. Does money corrupt? Like extreme wealth. I'm not just talking about money, ordinary money. I'm talking about extreme wealth. Does it corrupt a person to a point whereby, like what happened with Mr. Einstein, right? Jeffrey, what happened to him and what he did to people. And I mentioned that the fact that we don't have a clear picture of his whole like childhood, where he was brought up, how he was brought up, and how he graduated to such wealth and control and power over the most elite people in the world. How did he get there? We don't have that picture. It'd be quite interesting to see like his childhood. Was he abused? What was the issue? Why was he gaslighting young ladies and abusing them and promising them success and wealth? In the meantime, while he's doing that, he's abusing them. Did he have a problem, really, a mental problem, right? Was he somebody who didn't have a balanced mental mind, or was he somebody that was actually exposed to other people that were actually controlling him? We don't know the full story yet. We're just seeing this person as being the most powerful person over all these so-called elite people. We're not seeing the true story here. That makes you think, right? Remember that money is not the problem. The problem is the person who has access to the money. What are they doing with that money? Because money is impartial. And unfortunately, if your heart is blackened and closed and you have a lot of money, obviously you're going to do things aligned to your frequency, your understanding, your worldview. So we want to know, now I want to know clearly, what was Mr. Jeffrey's worldview when he was growing up? Was he brought up in abuse, extreme neglect? Was he bullied? We want to know the full story. What makes a person get to that certain level in society, number one? Not only hard work, because it looks like he was manipulating these people. As he went on and made more connections, to come close to you, get a lot of information from you, find your weaknesses and find your fetishes, because people have fetishes of pedophilia and everything. Then he provides that to you, and then you pay them, and he keeps that file somewhere. Then now you're in his books forever, and he can control you. Basically, it's something similar to the P Diddy story. If you look at it, that, you know what I mean. I'm thinking about it. P Diddy story was also about him, Mr. Sean Combs, going and manipulating people, finding their weaknesses, getting into them, getting them to be his friend, because especially if they were powerful people with money, or people that had talent, that he can use those people. So we're looking at the same type of concept here, right? It's a collective issue. That's what I'm trying to think now. It's a collective issue, because why are these two so aligned? Why are they so similar? The stories are very similar in that sense. Just that the only difference that Mr. Jeffrey Epstein, right, he went up to the most elite environments, while Mr. Sean was there with the hustlers, the new musicians, people that want to move up in society. Right now, that's the only difference is that we're seeing now. Last year, or was it, yeah, was it last year, the year before last, there was a big story about this whole thing with Mr. Sean Combs, and now we have another person who's doing something similar, right? Very, very similar to what the other person did, different backgrounds. But if you got to find out more about Sean Combs, P. Diddy's childhood and how he was brought up and abuse and sexual abuse and all those things, we get to understand what really allowed him to become who he became. You understand an abuser, gaslighter, a narcissistic person because he came from a background where he was highly abused. Now remember that every single person is not born evil because you are born an innocent child and in life you experience life and then you have things that mold you to who you are. Sometimes your self-esteem is broken. Sometimes you abuse sexually and that we saw that in Mr. Sean Combs' childhood history. Now, we haven't yet got the information about Mr. Jeffrey. Where does he come from? Basically, what even pushed him to do what he did, climb up the ladder and get connected to people so much well? What pushed him? You know what I'm trying to say? It's like this. We always think that when people in power and have money and wealth, they tend to be people that need to take care of the rest of us, like take care of humanity, like provide jobs, open businesses, help, and what they call philanthropy and all this. We're expecting that from them. We're not thinking that these people might not be mentally stable themselves. Because remember that you don't have to be mentally stable to be wealthy. You understand? You don't have to be mentally stable or even a nice person to be wealthy because money is impartial, right? You just need to be able to align yourself to wealth. So, like if you could make up a story in your mind of Mr. Jeffrey's childhood, you could probably start with a place where he was born in a home where they didn't have much. I'm just saying, like, just like if you like story time type of thing. He was born in a home where there was not much wealth. There were so many of them. They struggled every day, and he's always telling himself that one day I'm gonna be a billionaire. One day people are gonna look at me and notice who I am. I'll be powerful. Okay. Then as a teenager, he starts dating and he finds that girls don't really like him because he's different. He's somehow, you know what I mean? He's not likable. You understand? And maybe he's bullied in school and stuff like that. And then from the time he was being bullied, then becomes he finishes high school, then he goes to university or goes to college, and maybe he finds that he's very good with numbers. Then he starts now, okay, trading numbers and with the children in the school and help and advise them how to make more money and business and stuff like that right now. This is what I'm thinking, right? But it has to start on something. It has to build a person up to that level. Okay, now we see only the end story of it, and we wonder if is it the money that corrupted him, or was he always a corrupted person? Was he always power hungry from a young age? We can't see that, right? Because we don't see that information. There's more nuances here, more variable things that would have actually led to him being like that, right? A personality and values. That's what type of personality and values did he have from a young childhood, and as he entered into adulthood as well? Opportunities, wealth, and access. Which type of opportunities led him to get to the power that he actually had before he so-called allegedly killed himself or whatever? You know what I mean? Suicide. Lack of consequences as well. Okay, because when you have a lot of money, it's a known fact that the law is different for people with lots of money and power and wealth, and different to the people that are ordinary people, worker bees, middle class people, and stuff like that, right? But the people at the top can buy their way up because they have money, and because he had access to those people, he was able to you know what I mean, avoid being arrested, avoid all these things. Now he's gone, apparently suicide as they call it, right? So now all these files are coming out now from on email about him and all these um interesting friends that he was connected to, because You would never have expected that Jeffrey would have been connected to the elites like the royal family, British royal family, and all those things, right? You would have never have expected him to get to that level where you could have like a Ferguson asking him to borrow him money and stuff like, or give her money to pay her rent and stuff like that. It's kind of weird when you look at those videos and you read those things that they got out there. You try and piece things together to make it logically sound for you to understand how or the world they're really living. We think that they have all these perfect life with no problems, and yet it's not true. I mean, why would you want to do that, like pedophilia, and why do you want to like abuse women and children? It doesn't make sense. I thought when you'll have money and wealth, you'll be more happier. You'll be more like content with life. Why would you want to be hurting other people? There's something that you truly cannot understand until you get to the deep psychological evaluation of these people that are involved in such things. Guys, welcome to my life. If you're new here, I'm Sissy, a life coach and motivational speaker. Today I'm talking about the Jeffrey stuff, Jeffrey Epstein, and my topic is basically about money. Does money corrupt an extreme well corrupt a person, or are you already corrupted? And then when you got access to money, now you use that money to control and manipulate people and gaslight and abuse people, right? Like remember, I spoke about Sean Combs, which was a story that came up before, and he was also brought out to be a big extreme abuse, extremely abusing his power, same as Mr. Jeffrey, together with his girlfriend Ghislaine Maxwell. Maxwell was from wealth. So now, if you're from a wealthy family, you're born in wealth. You understand? It's like you don't have moral code to say you know what I mean, help others instead of hurting other people. So you know what I'm trying to say? Everything comes with a price because these models were actually had to pay a price and be abused sexually and stuff like that and psychologically just for them to get success, to get jobs and gigs and stuff like that. Because that's what he promised them, you know what I mean? The models. He promised them to influence their careers, to get them more better gigs and stuff like that, to get more money, right? So you got to do a certain thing. You got to now sell your soul. It's your devil, as they say. Now you're actually selling your body because you're abusing these people sexually and psychologically, right? So I got this feeling that there's more information that's gonna come out that's still not out yet. This is not the full story of what's really going on. But we all know that the wealthy, the ultra rich will be protected because legally they have the means to those high level lawyers that can protect them. You understand? They have access to high level lawyers that can protect them. So all this information is coming out now for a reason, because as we raise our frequency as a collective, guys, all this low frequency stuff must come out. All the hidden stuff must come out. And unfortunately, there's still more to come out before the year ends, right? Even before 2020, 2030. A lot of stuff will come out. And a lot of stuff will even try and make sense of it as ordinary people, because we don't hold those positions, in those, in those societies, high wealth societies, where we think, those people supposed to be helping society, making society better. Instead, they're causing more trauma to ordinary people that just want to level up and uplift their careers and stuff like that, right? Now remember that all these things are happening for the reason at this time. It's not to say that life is bad and every single person is wealthy is bad. No, that's not true, right? Like we all know that, for example, there has to be polarity. There will be good people and bad people in this reality. Even up level high society people. There's good people and there's also bad people there as well. People that are not connected to the heart, that are fractured psychologically and also in the energetic level. They fractured, they don't know themselves. You know what I'm trying to say? Same as down at the bottom and low levels of society and the crossroads level of society are very broken people too there as well. And very healthy, strong people, mentally and psychologically. So we have to see this as what it is, right? We can't run away from the darkness because the darkness is here. What bad things will be happening because we're living in a world and a world of duality, but we need to understand that when you are seeing certain things, don't look at it, don't make it don't own it too much to yourself. You like a researcher. You are gonna observe and ask questions, and don't be caught with it. Oh my God, rich people or bad people. No, that's not the whole idea. Or very wealthy people are all bad. No, not necessarily. Yes, we're seeing most of the all the negative things of what's happening up there, right, in high levels of society. But not all wealthy people have the same issues. Remember, it's all about your background. I always say that your life begins when you are born. Your first 7 years of your life is your major programming in the game, right, in life. Now you've been programmed by your life, by your tribe, your inner circle, your family. Now, based on that conditioning and what happened in the first 7 years of your life, your self-awareness is actually from that experience. Your self-awareness, your self-love, your self-loathe is all from there because everything's coming from the mother. Your mother's teaching you how to actually accept or love yourself, or even opposite. If she doesn't love and accept herself, then it also affects you as well. So it's a programming. And then other things that come into play as well. Your childhood, how you connecting with your siblings and stuff like that, right? So we cannot really say that people were actually born evil. No, people are not born evil. It's life that happens to them and what they're exposed to, and then also what they choose as well. Because not every single person is coming from an abused background or even was bullied in life becomes a narcissist, abuser, gaslighter, abusive person. No. Sometimes a person can come from a very dark background and be abused as a young child, even sexually, psychologically, whatever. But that person can grow up and become a very helpful, light-hearted, loving person that wants to help other people and help other people heal as well. See, not every single person is going to come from abuse background. I must abuse too. See, that's how the whole idea is all about choice. It's all about choice at the end of the day. And remember that in this plane, in this rhyme, in this reality, we have what we call the gift of choice. Your gift of choice is what allows you to choose life. Now, we have people that are choosing the darkness, like Mr. Jeffrey, right? He chose the dark part to abuse and abuse his power and abuse the people, even that had given him access to that power, because he needed to connect with them, he needed to do business with them. And when he became powerful, then he used those things against them as well, so they can keep his secrets and he keeps their secrets as well. Because at the end of the day, the pedophilia is extreme. I mean, he was running this whole island story of him for him, and not only for him, but also for his so-called clients, his connections, his friends who came to the island, and they bought what you call these young children and stuff like that, pedophilia. Now, there's much to be said about that. This is what's really going on in the world, right? We cannot hide from it, and it's happening. Maybe not only in with Jeffrey, but other areas of the world, right? But it's what they call it child trafficking as well. It's happening in the world. The question is, what do we do about it? We cannot ignore these things, right? But at the same time, we cannot be fearful about them. But it all begins with you. How are you feeling about your life? How do you treat children in your life, your own children, other people's children? Is there respect and consideration in stuff like that? Because remember, this is a collective issue. Because these people are coming from our societies, from our world. It's a collective issue. Now, there's a lot of wicked people out there. If you look at the stories, a lot of dark people out there. They're coming from our world. Why? Why? Because of the choices they are making. And maybe because of the experience that they're also experiencing as children. You know, being conditioned, right? Now, let's also talk about the power within you, right? Being your own God, your sovereign person within you, right? I like this topic because it's about moving people away from religion and owning themselves and owning their own spirituality, right? Now, being your own God or your own sovereign God does not mean claiming that you are powerful over everything external, right? You're not more than divine creator. It means that you are Recognizing your power that God has given you. That's what sovereignty means. You recognize the power that God has given you as a person. Being your own God is inner divinity, self-respect. Divinity is not outside of you, it's within you, right? Source, consciousness expresses itself through you. You understand? Source of consciousness expresses itself through you, but you still have the choice to express yourself in a negative or in a positive. You are a creator within a creation. You are a creator within a creation, not separate from it all, right? Instead of worshiping an external God, you recognize your power. The same creative intelligence that created the world is within you as well, right? Same creative intelligence that within the universe moves within you as well. This appears across mystical teachings, across Gnostic teachings, across Eastern philosophy and Hermetic teachings and modern spirituality. Okay, now it's about important, but not the ego. Now remember, with the E-files and Jeffrey, that was the ego thing. It was about growing his ego, and the more wealth he got, more power he got, the more he wanted. So it wasn't operating from balance. It's coming from a lack. Although he had all this wealth, he just wanted more and more and more and more. Right? The control of women, wanting a harem and all those things. That's like crazy. I mean, but anyway, each one for his own. Jeffrey chose that path and where it led him. It led him to point now suicide and all those things. So all those years of living in wealth, right, and having all those connection but no peace, because I can imagine the life that he lived. He had to continuously hide the fact that he's doing these things. No peace. All the wealth and money, but he couldn't have any no peace. I don't think that guy had peace because he had all these things happening and all this information about all these people that are also engaging in pedophilia, keeping those secrets, making sure that the videos are not being and the emails and informations are taken out. And now that he's dead now, pause. Now all this information is coming out. So the question is, what do we do with this information as society? Why are we given this information? To make us afraid? To make us distracted? Maybe it's a distraction, we don't know, but this information is out there, right? So you can pretend like it doesn't exist, but it does exist. Okay, it doesn't mean that now you need to immerse yourself into it 24/7 and only focus on all the bad things that that guy did and other elite people are doing as well, allegedly, right? Allegedly. Okay, let me continue. Now, self-embodiment. What it means to be a sovereign being, owning yourself, even your energy, where you put your energy and what you do with your energy is important. To be sovereign means you no longer outsource your power, your truth, or your worth. I mean, like, for example, we're all shocked now because all the artists that we thought were saints are not saints. You get my point? All the people, the singers that are involved in even the gurus, spiritual gurus, you get my point? Like all these other gurus that came out, said this, what were involved with Mr. Einstein. You understand, with Jeffrey. So these are the things that are now coming up, like Deepak Chakra. That was last week when they brought out these files that were also in the email as well, that he was having communication with Mr. Epstein. Okay, so that sovereignty means that I don't look at other people just because they have great jobs and big money and they're very successful in life. I don't look at them as if they are gods. I understand that they are human like you, right? Like, for example, you don't give your power to religious institutions, gurus, as I mentioned, governments, because yes, our governments are not all that clean, right? They're just ordinary people sitting in place of power. Now imagine if the story of Mr. Einstein came out and we all in shock. Now imagine when the political stuff comes out, because some has come out and people don't take it serious. You understand? They don't take it serious. Our governments are just as corrupted as well. Fear-based belief systems, right? Remember that when you are given information like what we're seeing now, don't soak into the fact or into fear. Don't even see it as something that you should spend too much time in it. Understand, acknowledge it's there, and then move on and enjoy your life and be the creator you need to create. You need to be, because you are the creator, you need to create in your life experience. Responsibility for your life. You have to be responsible for your own life. Don't depend on churches and gurus or even religious leaders. Yes. Don't even depend on actors and governments. You have to create your own life here. Remember that these people are just civil servants, especially governments officials as civil servants, right? They have more access to power because we've given them that platform to lead and run countries and run our taxes and our monies. It doesn't mean that they are more superior than us. They're just holding jobs. They always tell a person like that MP or that prime minister or whatever you may call him is only doing a job. Your job is different to him. It doesn't mean that you are most you're not you are less superior or you're now lower than that person. This is what's the modern system of capitalism is actually created. It's created an ideology that the job that I have gives me my value. Doesn't work like that in spirituality. The job that I have doesn't give me my value. I am more valuable than that job. My value is nothing to do with the job that I do. I am just exchanging my time and my skills for money. It doesn't mean that just because I hold an administration position or I'm just a sweeper or a cleaner, doesn't mean I'm less than a person that's a CEO or even a financial advisor like Mr. Epstein, advising these wealthy people and providing all these so-called dark activities access to them people, selling people like slaves. You get my point? Yeah. So think about that, right? So responsibility of your life, be more responsible of your life. Sovereignty requires maturity. Be mature. Take your responsibility for your choices as well. Be responsible for your life experience. Don't blame fate, devils, karma, or gods for what's happening in your life. You make that decision wherever you are now in your life. It's because you decided to be, especially when you're an adult, you decided to be with from the age of 18 in most societies, maybe 21 in certain societies. But when you make that decision as an adult, you can't blame anybody else. You understand your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and you shape your reality. You're constantly shaping your reality, like how Mr. Einstein shaped his reality, right? Connecting all these people. He's just an ordinary person, guys. Ordinary person who worked his way up and manipulated and do whatever he did to get where he ended up. Same as us, we'll also be doing that too as well. We're doing it every single day, living our lives. There's nothing special about Mr. Epstein. He's just somebody that was exposed to a lot of wealth and he took advantage of it and he started now abusing it as well. You see my point? Even an ordinary person who works a 9 to 5 can abuse his power. You get to a certain level, you're now a manager, you can abuse your power in your managerial position. You don't even have a lot of money. It's not about the money that corrupts you. You are already a corrupted person. That's answering our question. Does money corrupt you or you really corrupt person naturally by default before you got all your hands onto money? Because if you look at the world as it is now, ordinary person as maybe a general manager or a senior manager or whatever, or a production manager, he has this power, right? And because of his own perceptions about life and his own worldview, he can abuse people. It's not about the money, it's about the person's heart, it's about the person's worldview, it's about the person's frequency. You understand? But the person's frequency, looking at other people, looking down at other people and saying, okay, I'm now supervisor, you are now my subordinate, you are lower than me, kind of thing, right? I can buy and sell you as I say. You get what I'm trying to say? When they get to that level, I can buy and sell you. That people that say that to other people, me don't think much about other people. They don't respect other people, don't respect life. Because just because now you're at a certain level in life, that's what I'm saying. This Epstein story is linked to our collective conditioning. How our hearts are and where we are in our life as well, right? So look at it that way. She said his one's even more extreme because he had more power. He had more power and money in his hands to actually be able to do all the atrocities that he did, buying an island and making it all about pedophilia and abusing women and children. I mean, as 8, I think. I think it even goes younger than that. When you see other people as nothing but toys, nothing. Because you see, you don't have to have a lot of money and wealth, extreme wealth, for you to be a horrible person, right? So why some people release the idea of external God, right? Now I'm talking about you being your own God, owning yourself, making your own decisions as well in your life. Many people step away from deity-based systems like Christianity and even Islam, and they move more to a spiritual way of thinking and living, right? They were rooted in fear before and controlled. And remember that religion is like politics. It's always about control and fear. If I do this evil sin, I'm gonna go to hell. If I don't pay tithes, I'm gonna be condemned. I won't get anything. You understand all those things right now. God was portrayed as a judgmental, a conditional God. Right now, we have an issue here. God was portrayed in the Bible as a judgmental and conditional God, not a God of love and kindness. Now, remember, when a person says, I'm the God of my life, it means that I have this power over my own life. But in this physical world, power is money. Power is mullah, right? Now, in our minds, okay, I have the power like God because I have all this mullah, right? But now my condition, if I am a dog person with no love and kindness, I won't do good with this money. I'm going to be abusing this money. I'm using my God power to abuse other people. Now you have your choice of your own life, and it's not about the money. It's about your own belief in yourself, right? It's about your own belief in yourself. They are rooted in fear, as I said, and I said that religion's all about judgmental and conditioning as well. Power is placed outside of the self. Having the things, having the cars, having the houses, having the money. You understand? Having the islands and all the lands and all those things, right? That's where power is actually placed currently. Trauma was spiritualized instead of healed. So you will spiritualize your trauma instead of healing your trauma. You're denying it, you're gaslighting, right? Letting go of God does not mean losing spirituality. Letting go of the Bible, the God of the Bible concept, it doesn't mean you're losing your spirituality because you're always spiritual. Your spirit's having a human experience. It often means deepening it, deepening your spirituality. Now you're going more deeper. Because I always say that spirituality is a nice foundation. It's the end point, yes, because we are spiritual, but religion is a nice foundation. You get to understand about God power and your own power as well, because religion is not only about God power, it's about your power, your relationship with God, your authority of your own life experience. You know how you can create your own life and everything like that, right? So what people get lost in their whole concept that I need a God, and I'm useless, I'm helpless, I cannot help myself, I need God to help me. Yes, you do, because you are God, parts of God. You are God, right? But not to the point whereby you have to give your power away. Now, you are God giving your power away, basically. You get how most people that are living today in religion. They go every Sunday because it's a Sunday today, it's a good day to speak about it. Or people, mess up people going to church, which is not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just a thing that we do, that people do. They go to church there, right? You listen to the pastor, you go home, or you listen to the preacher, you go home, and then that's it. You don't go back into your spirituality. Your spirit's having a human experience, not only on a Sunday. Your spirit's having a human experience every single day. Every single day you commune with God within you. God is not in that building. God is not in that ethereal, wherever you go. It's not in that mosque. God is within you. So every day you are supposed to be communing with spirits within you. Right? So when you are talking to yourself, you're communing to spirit. And what are you saying to yourself? What are you saying to spirit? Remember that spirit creates all things. Energy is spiritual. So when you're saying negative things to your body, you are creating negative consequences within your body. When you are saying negative things in your mind, you're creating negative consequences within your mind. Your worldview becomes unbalanced, right? Now, spirituality is only about Sunday. It's about every single day. That's the difference, okay? Being sovereign is owning your spirituality every single day. Every single day you will have your time where you commune with spirits. Tell God how you're feeling. Divine source, creator of all things. Tell God how you're feeling today. Tell God what you need for the day, and also affirm it into place and say, I'm worthy and I have it, right? A simple sovereign statement of affirmations, as I said, right? I am conscious. Consciousness expresses itself in a physical body, right? I am consciousness expressing source in a physical body. I honor life, truth, and love, and I honor myself as a person as well. I take responsibility for my energy and my choices. I'm not a victim, and and I take responsibility of my healing as well. I choose to heal. I walk in my path with awareness and compassion. I walk my path with awareness and compassion, which is very powerful right now. Explore how you view supports the trauma healing within you as well. You get my point? Everybody has some sort of trauma that you're working through. You understand? So I can imagine how much trauma Mr. Jeffrey had in his life for him to come out the way he came out, how he became such a narcissistic, abusive, gaslighting person, trading children for money and all those things. Yeah, that's weird. But we live in a world where a lot of things will be are coming out now. So we need to hold on to our seats, because 2030 is just a few years from now, right? So 26 now. So we got like, is it 4 years, right? And we're already in the month of February. We have so much information we can't even digest. It's like, it's sticking. It's too much. A lot of heavy information out there. All these so-called famous people that we thought were up in the board, including Deepa Chakra and others, even Dalai Lama. That's really, really broke me. Dalai Lama of all people, the Buddhist, monk, right? Um, so it's kind of interesting how the world is has always been, and we thought it was something else. And these people are somehow good people because I'm holding a position as a guru or a Dalai Lama, but I'm involved in pedophilia activities. I mean, what they always say, show me the man's friends and you tell you more about that man. Show me who he connects with. Show me who he relates to. Show me his tribe, and I'll tell you who he is. Basically, that's what beginning to realize now, because we had this idea that these people are good people, saying these people that help people. So you are a whole guru, you know what I mean? You're a spiritual teacher. People think that you're good, but underneath, yeah, you're going very, very low. You connecting with Mr. Jeffrey to get you some young girls and all those things. It's just weird. The world is a weird place, right? Because people have different preferences, guys, right? People have different preferences. But remember that you are loved. Don't be influenced negatively by what you are hearing about what's going on with the e-files. Don't be negatively influenced, right? Try and understand that, yes, in this world, there is darkness, right? But I, being the light, must shine my light over the darkness. In other words, my positivity, my love, is about forgiveness and understanding. You understand? Because it's not about human justice. Human justice is, especially for people at that level, it doesn't exist. Really, it doesn't. You understand? It doesn't exist. You see, Mr. Sean Combs wasn't dabbling in the same arena as Mr. Jeffrey. He wasn't dabbling in the same arena. Maybe the same tactics, the same way of dealing with people, gaslighting, manipulating people, and stuff like that, right? But different type of environment. Epstein is on top there with the royals and the governments and everybody. And then Mr. Sean was with the normal musicians in Hollywood who are also just selling their skills for money. You know what I'm trying to say? Ordinary people trying to climb up. Mr. Epstein went up to the ruling crowd, people that they can give him much more power, because he knew their weaknesses, he knew their fetishes, that they had like pedophilic tendencies and all those things. Okay, so he was providing a service in exchange of money, and also positioning in the elites. That's what he did. But it'll be very interesting, guys, for us to see the base story, where he comes from, his family, when he was born, where he was born, his type of family he grew up in. Was he abused as a child? Was he from a loving family? You know, how he climbed up to that level. because Miss Epstein wasn't that old, right? I think he was in his 50s or late 40s or something, early 50s, if I'm not right, if I'm not correct, I'm not sure, but I think he was not a very old guy when he so-called committed suicide in 2012 or so. Yeah, after the second arrest, guys. So have a great week, okay? And remember that you are love. So try and focus on your love for yourself. Focus on your joy, right? And yeah, when you're watching all this information, social media, take it with a pinch of salt and understand that yes, there's negative things here, but we have choice. Every single person has a choice. And money doesn't mean you're going to be evil. Money is not evil, right? Being extremely wealthy doesn't mean that you're going to be evil. You understand? Because people are operating from their level of awareness and their worldviews, regardless of the money that they have, right? So have a great week further as we start this new week. Today is the 22nd of February. As we're getting the end of February, guys, right? Appreciate yourself every day and say a prayer for yourself and your family and your friends every day. It's very, very helpful, very, very important at this time when all the stuff is coming out. And a lot of bad things are also happening in normal day-to-day life as well. A lot of accidents and all those things are also happening, right? So remember, keep yourself safe and your family safe as well, right? And remember that you are an expression of God's love. So be that love, choose that love, and choose that light. And always speak light and love over yourself and over your family and your friends, guys. Have a great week further. Ciao.